Well, hey there, boys and girls. Here's Billy Chili, your favorite host with the most, and I'm here with another exciting episode of Issues. And today is no exception, folks. I think I got quite the show for you, but I just want to take a second before I get started and let you guys know out there that I'm feeling the love, man. I'm feeling the love. People, I might not have no fucking army or no super PAC like that other guy on the big channel. But my chili heads are the best fans ever. And you guys are showing the love, man. And I just want to take a second to love you right on back. All you people at home watching this show are the most awesome people in Santa Cruz. You people rock. Well, anyway, let's get on with the news because it's nothing but bad. How about this, folks? So now we can go around killing people. We can go around putting black bags over their head and hauling them off to Guantanamo. And to make it so much sweeter and to smell so much prettier, we're coming up with new terms for this stuff. And so, folks, the one that just caught my attention the other day, there was a gentleman from Petaluma. He went down to San Francisco and was causing a bit of a scene and put a couple people in danger. So they shot him. They just shot the guy, killed him in cold blood. And the news report says, well, the gentleman had to be neutralized to protect the people around him. And I thought neutralized, well, isn't that sweet? Huh? What a term for we killed the fucker. Anyway, and speaking of killing fuckers, here's Bin Laden's anniversary. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sick and tired of these government people saying that, oh yeah, we killed Bin Laden. Oh yeah, we killed him because he killed 3,000 people. From word go, folks, he did not do it. He said himself he had nothing to do with it. We all know that it was the Israeli Zionists that did this. Man, will you please stop playing us for fools? We're not stupid. Give it up. Obama, you just make yourself look like a fucking idiot when you try to pull that wool over my eyes. And the same goes with my crowd, man. We're above your shit. Stop it. But anyway, and now, you know, I told you a while back about that whole flu thing and the H5N5 thing and how horrible that's going to be. And, oh, yeah, now it's a big deal in the news. And they're saying, oh, don't worry, you know, nothing's going to happen. Well, guess what? Here in Palo Alto, just a week ago, a researcher working in a lab that created a deadly form of meningitis went home and died. Now, is that the same lab that has that H5N5 virus that's never going to get out? It's never going to hurt anybody? The guy went home and died, folks. How many people did he infect on his way home before he died? Did he have a wife and a family? Did they catch it? I mean, you know, is this guy just single and it was a fluke? I mean, did we get really that lucky? Is this not a wake-up call for those researchers? Guys. Anyway, speaking of evil people, my favorite evil person in the whole world is Dick Cheney. That's no lie. And this guy should have been dead. He's a dead bastard. But no, somebody gave him a heart, just like the Tin Man, if he only had a heart. Well, the news reports once again said that, yes, somebody gave Mr. Cheney a heart and that his family is very appreciative. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to give my fucking heart to anybody, not while I'm alive. I don't care who he is. And the fact that he's got one, well, whose little farmer did he get it from in China? Which little farm? Who has snake blood anyway to give that bastard a heart? I mean, what's his blood type? Cold blood O positive? Snake blood O C? I don't know, man, but it ain't no fucking regular blood. So, yeah, thank you for giving that guy a heart, whoever did it. We're all so happy that Cheney's still alive. But you know what? If you ever watch those sci-fi movies when you get an organ transplant and take over some of those inherent traits of the person you got the organ from, well, maybe Dick Cheney got a really nice, loving heart from somebody who really cared. And he's going to see that he was the most evilest person on the planet and that all the shit he's done's wrong. And he's going to give his trillions of dollars away to everybody that needs it. Let's just hope, folks. Let's just hope. Well, speaking of our wonderful government people, how about those Secret Service agents in Colombia, huh? Well, that girl was pretty damn fine. I don't know any white boy in his right mind that wouldn't want to go after her. She is fucking hot stuff, boys and girls. And, these military guys, they've been on their bases for a long time. And, they get out to these bars in Colombia where the cocaine's flowing freely and the great pot's there. And they had a couple drinks and this girl walks in. Oh, hell yeah, man. That's pretty much a no-brainer if you ask me. So anyway, let's just move on because I don't really need to say any more about that. You already know they were a bunch of assholes. And it just disgraced us good American people even more, And it's so funny. I was at Johnny Rodden's show a year ago or so, and I was in line, and I was talking with this guy from Australia. And he goes, man, you Americans are all fucked up. You're fucking riding on horses and shooting people and killing anything you can. And, if that's the impression that the rest of the world has, I guess that's pretty good because we're a lot worse than that, folks. We're a lot worse than people on horses killing Indians, man. We kill anybody. It's fucked up. Anyway, how about fucked up? Let's talk about student loans, huh? This is like the best thing ever. Here we got this situation where the government wants to double the student loan rate. And then, but wait, the Republicans say, no, you don't have to double the rates. We'll just take health care rights away from women. And, I got an interview here. Let me talk to... So, let's just take a second then to welcome Mr. Bartholomew Rothschilds to the show. Welcome, Mr. Bartholomew.
Hello, Saunders. Billy Chili, it's so nice to be on your show today.
Well, it's a real pleasure to have you. We're here talking about student loan interest rates and the fact that they're going up, even doubling. Why is that happening?
That's how things work. Things go up, costs go up. We have to raise prices because my accounts are under $3 trillion.
Oh, but why are we discussing paying for this? The Republicans say that if we don't raise these prices, we're going to have to cut women's health care. Why is that going to happen?
Well, this has to be paid somehow. We'll just... Parents are paying, so we'll just have them pay anyway. We can just cut that step out.
Okay. But isn't interest like free money for you guys? It really doesn't need to go up, does it?
Spitty, you just don't get it. The banking industry is evolving and has its needs.
But the government isn't a bank. Why are the loans causing this?
Spilly, you just keep thinking that. And I have your suitcase here. I will just leave it for you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. Well, goodbye, Mr. Bartholomew. Thank you for being on the show. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that suitcase, boys and girls. Oh, yeah, man. And, you women don't need any rights anyway. And come on, kids. What's a college education going to do for you anyway? 90% of the kids that have graduated from school are working in McDonald's. You don't need a college degree for that. You just saved yourself $20,000, all right? That's from Spilly to you. Anyway, how about this, man? Mitt Romney's wife. She's the leader in women's rights causes. This girl here, she's amazing. She says, I chose to be a housewife. I never needed to work. Well, this woman's pretty beautiful, and the picture we have doesn't really do her much justice. But if you've actually seen her, she's a trophy wife, and Mitt Romney has her. And it's almost kind of like the Stepford Wives. I think this woman's programmed to do whatever he says. And as we get to know more about Mrs. Romney, you mark my word, Stepford Wives. Stepford Wives. Have you ever seen that movie? There's a couple versions of it. I suggest you go watch it before you talk to Mrs. Romney. But anyway, the old Mittster himself, guess what? He's the Republican candidate. All the other clowns have dropped out. Even Gingrich finally threw in the towel and said, oh no. And now, the greatest thing about all this is that none of them like him. But yet, what do they say in support of him? Mrs. Sarah Palin says 2 words: Barack Obama. Be afraid. Be very afraid. That's the platform that the Republicans are going to stand on, that Barack Obama was an idiot, and so you should just vote for somebody else. Well, indeed, I agree with that. You should just vote for somebody else than Barack Obama. And if it's going to be fucking Mitt Romney, Mr. Cucumber Man, we got to get rid of these other bozos. Cantner, Bonner, McConnell. Now, these are the new evilest people in government. This Cantner guy, he's getting himself in all kinds of trouble pushing the fucking no Planned Parenthood, no women's rights thing. He looks like he probably gets that's this guy right here, folks. I should say this guy right there. You see what I'm saying here? It's this guy right here. He's the fucking jackass that's trying to cause this huge Republican thing. And look at this guy right here, man. Is he drunk? He's drunk every fucking time you see him. He's piss drunk. He's so drunk. Oh, yeah, whatever, he says. Oh, if the Obama says let's turn right, he'll say let's turn left. If the Obama says let's give him money, he'll say no, we got to take away the money. And then when it's all said and done, he lost. Well, we gave it our best shot. Well, you know what? Right at you too. So, if we got to get rid of Obama, we got to get rid of these guys, folks. Well, hey, boys and girls, this is my favorite part of the show where I get to talk to local politicians, and today is no exception. I am really, really excited to have a candidate here for our local county board of supervisors, but he's also been in the political arena for quite some time. He goes back to the Reagan days, where Reagan actually told him to shut up, and I'm just love this guy. I heard about him actually, though, with an article in the Sentinel, which came out and said that they really didn't want to support John Leopold, but they weren't sure about the other candidates, and that this gentleman here didn't want any support from the Sentinel, nor were they going to give it to him. And my eyes just lit up, the light bulb went off, and I was like, folks, we need to talk to him. So let me introduce real quick Mr. Gary Arnold. Gary, thank you so much for being here. What a pleasure to have you here today. Well, Gary, why don't you take a second and tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, been active in politics for a long, long time. I was going to Santa Monica College and working in a property management organization, and I heard somebody that sounded pretty kooky to me, and I started making some monetary bets. And in those days, you didn't have the internet, so you had to go to the library and research it, and I lost time after time, and started to realize that the professors at the school and the LA Times and all of the sources, while I was well-read, I was misinformed.
Interesting.
And early in the 60s, I got involved with politics. I like Goldwater because, again, extremism in the defense of liberty and moderation in the pursuit of, whatever is not strong enough. And so I identified with getting away from the political theater, and we're mostly entertained by a Punch and Judy show. And the people from the political left, the political right, while each of the causes that they espouse, there's some truth or there's some reason for them to dedicate their time for those various organizations. But we were born much later than a lot of this stuff has been going on. Mm-hmm. So they've set up these ant traps or salt licks or whatever you want to call them, and we go to them thinking that this will provide the anxiety we feel about the injustices that we see around. And of course, we're wrapped in uniform, and we're taught to believe in a certain way in which they can control your life, the rest of your life, rather than looking outside that affinity or that groupthink. And they kind of have us rolling with this food fight between the political left and the political right, which is really a shame. And you only have to go back a few layers to see where the power comes from.
Oh, indeed, Gary, indeed. And so when you mentioned this we and kind of them mentality, and it does go on for years. Where do you think we went wrong, or where did we go off track with liberties and the corporations taking over? 100 years ago, 50 years ago, when do you think that really started happening?
I think it's built in human nature. When you look at dictatorships and how they aspire and gain control, you go back to the Middle Ages and bring it forward. Of course, what's happened in the last 100 years is that because of psychology and the access to science and our own biology and how we think, and Freud and all the rest of them, they've made it a real science in which they really manipulate the people. And that's where it's become very, very dangerous, and it's plotted out with long-term plans, whereas most people are looking to get the meal on the table, or maybe getting the last payment on their car, or knocking down the mortgage payments. People don't think above the regular rhetoric in which they shove in front of us, which is, again, that puppet show. This is Operation Cloverleaf. It's operated by James Schlesinger, former head of the CIA. It does detrimental stuff to the people, and Front Page USA Today last year, I think it was last May, and they itemized each of the elements, and it's deadly to people that are vulnerable. And we've got two people on the Board of Supervisors, Coonerty and Ellen Perry on the Air Resources Board. The other supervisors vote as a block, and they allow this. Yet virtually everything they rubber stamp is so-called for the environment or some green cause, but they're allowing that to happen. Same time, you have Louis Alejo come back from Harvard, put together the Brown Berets, and talk about the ecology and the environment and the health, so that people don't get too fat and they don't put the sugar in the food. But he's number one in trying to put the fluoride in the Watsonville
and that's
community
been a
water.
huge issue.
And when the people voted against it, the same thing here in the city of Santa Cruz. And these son of a bitches will keep doing this stuff. They're a Malthusian political machine that have a different agenda. Now, I was before the Chamber of Commerce grouping of the supervisors that were running just within the last 10 days. And I advocated, I'm for all 10 amendments to the Constitution. No state would join to create a federal government without these guarantees. And these people, even candidates, have to swear when we swear oath to the Constitution. Yet these are the guys that are taking away the Second Amendment.
Every
and
time.
I said, look at these businesses. They need permits to protect their businesses and their families and the banks and the jewelry stores. And within this week, we've had one person stabbed in the face multiple times, murders in the particular area. But again, the sheriff that is allowed to give out permits to defend yourself and your family and everything you've worked for will not issue those things. But in violation of the Board of Supervisors' vote against installing these murder meters, these monitor meters, that David Petraeus brags he no longer needs warrants to spy on what's going on in every American home.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that those meters were weaponized and designed to spy on each and every household. And so you had the sheriff, in violation of the resolution, going out and helping PG&E install these meters instead of protecting the people.
Right.
So the sheriff is acting on behalf of PG&E, which has a contract with ICLEI, which is a front for the World Bank. All of this stuff is happening. Now, this is the same political machine. You'll see whoever the sheriff votes for or endorses is part of this group. Bruce McPherson, Zach Friend, John Leopold, those are the three that are running. This is a Malthusian political machine right now that in every case, the chemtrails, the fluoride, the putting on to the
desal
houses.
plant is coming up.
This is making your house the incarceration. They don't need to put you in a boxcar and take you to a camp. Your house is now an incarceration device.
Well, Gary, we're getting close to my time limit for this show, unfortunately. So I want you to just take a second. And we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. You're going to see Gary here on Community TV if I have anything to do with it. But anyway, Gary, I just want you to take a second on this show to talk to the people out there. Give them a brief synopsis of what you're looking for and why they should vote for you.
Okay. They'll find more material and information, especially on my website, called Man Against the Machine. And if you put Gary or Arnold any place alongside Man Against the Machine, you'll run into a website that details a lot of the information that we've been talking about here. But again, we're just going right through the most basics. I believe in all 10 amendments. I'm really against the speed traps that they have like over on 41st Avenue, in which there's kickbacks that nobody knows about to the courts. In the traffic school, there's kickbacks there. It's owned by an outside agency, which Goldman Sachs owns, a portion of the stock in it. And all they have to do is change 3 seconds on the yellow, drop the mileage by 5 miles an hour, and there'd probably be 1/100th of the people that are being fined. And this is a time when people are having a hard time to budget, and they're turning the cops against the people when the cops should be serving the people. And the same thing, they're creating fusion centers. The one episode that was knocked off the air by Jesse Ventura and not replayed by True TV, you can find it, I think, still by Googling it. It's real important. What they've been doing is taking away your local police and nationalizing them with home security monies. In fact, Zach Friend worked for Home Security. He worked for Joe Lieberman, who's part of Project for a New American Century. He worked for John Kerry, who's a member of Skull and Bones. He's bad news. When we had the riots here in Santa Cruz and the police stood down for an hour, something's wrong with that. That stinks like a false flag to me. This is the guy that's endorsing Leopold. This is a block of people that are bad. You've got to clean house with these people. Again, if you go back to my website, you can get the details on each and every one of these items. The person I'm running against specifically, John Leopold, destroyed the independent appeals board for the planning department. The planning department's been used as a political harassment device. It's been involved in what's called rural cleansing in order to create corridors so that the king, has his land. These so-called land trusts are not in favor for the people. They're driving the people from the lands that they own. Half of the state is owned by the federal government, close to 45% of it, together with state-owned property. They're keeping you and me, the natural inheritors of this land, off the land. You see, the no trespassing, all this other type of stuff. It's for the rich. It's for the Ted Turners and the Bill Gates and the Panettas and the Julia Packards. These are the people that are behind. This is the 1% that's pretending and moving you into political positions by using their money through their foundations. They dole out a few to the nonprofits, which normally are representing a good cause, but what they do is they end up mollifying the people, keeping them dumbed down. We lost control of our newspaper when Dow Jones bought the Sentinel. And Bruce McPherson stayed on as editor, and ever since that time, you can just look at the John Swinton quotes, and that's what you got. He's the one that brought in the die-bolt voting machines. He's the one that's advocating this United Nations Agenda 21. Right now, both the city of Santa Cruz and the county of Santa Cruz have a contract with an outfit called ICLEI. ICLEI is a front for the World Bank. Our Board of Supervisors doesn't represent us. They're no more than the Vichy French government that existed during World War II. They're doing what Hitler would like. They're pretending. They cut the ribbons, and they fill their back pockets with their pensions, and they keep you at bay. They do not represent you. They pass more and more laws that regulate and control you, and with the new meters that they're putting in, they're going to be able to ration you. And there's a reason why there's been no refineries built in the United States for a long time, and roads haven't been improved, because they're going through a culling process. They were purposely involved, together with Leon Panetta, with NAFTA, moving the industrial base, the working base overseas to China and to Brazil and these other places. They take our money and put it on make it part of our debt for the billionaires that get the exemptions and the subsidies. You can see it down here at Moss Landing. You've got Blackstone that just bought out Moss Landing supposedly for a loss. Why? Because the head of Blackstone is Pete Peterson, 12 years head of the Council on Foreign Relations. The vice chairman is Alan Schwartzman, member of Skull and Bones, and you're going to have to learn about Skull and Bones if you want to know what's going on in this country. Right before Kennedy was killed, he warned about secret societies. And look up Kennedy secret societies, and he gets very specific and very clear. And you need to go and take advantage of that while that's up and available. But again, if you go to Man Against the Machine, Gary Richard Arnold, you'll find plenty of information there. And no matter where you live in the county, at least in 3 of the districts, you have an opportunity to break this machine.
So anyway, thank you, Gary, and let's get on with the show with Uncle Spunky. boys and girls, your good old pal Uncle Spunky here. And you know what? I'm not so pissed off right now. There's been a lot of people out there trying to help old Uncle Spunky out. And I want to get a big shout out to the Human Resource Agency. For the first time since I've been dealing with these guys, they got it right the first time. Bravo. Thank you very much. I want to give credit where credit's due. Even though they sent me one of the wrong forms, they approved it anyway, and they took the responsibility instead of putting it on my shoulders. First time ever, folks. Thank you. Thank you, Human Resource Agency, for taking care of that. And anyway, you know who else I want to get a big shout out to? The people that did the homeless thing at the Civic. You know, that was quite an ordeal, and I think a lot of those people were overwhelmed by all the people that need help. I bet if you were there and saw all those people, you'd understand. Well, I was one of those people too, folks. And guess what? I didn't get a lot done there, but they helped me out and fixed me up. You know, I got some new glasses today. I can see you folks at home. You know, you're all very pretty and looking very nice. And so the volunteers and the people out there, thank you so much for doing that. That was really cool. And then a big super shout out to the Plaza Lane Optometry people for doing all that stuff and giving me some glasses. Bravo to them. Plaza Lane Optometry on Pacific Avenue across from that great sandwich place. So anyway, there is good in the world, folks. You don't have to be pissed off all the time to see the light. And anyway, I hope you see the light tonight. Good night, folks.
Mountain Mike's Pizza, where the freshest ingredients and delicious toppings equal great pizza. With a full salad bar, a buffet table, and a fun, family-friendly atmosphere. We got game rooms for the kids, 3 big screen TVs. Mountain Mike's Pizza, located at 3715 Portola Drive.